This is my first time trying Caran colored pencils. I have the 12 colors set, as I wanted to see how they were before committing to more colors, and I like a limited palette most of the time. So here are the pros. It feels premium in the hand. There are numbers and color printed directly on the pencil. It's packaged really nicely, though I prefer a tin rather than a cardboard box, which is what this kind of is. But then again, it is encased in foam padding, so that's definitely enough to protect the cores of the pencils from dropping or in shipment and stuff. The colors are where it really shines. They are incredibly rich in pigment. They layer what seems like endlessly. I applied Staedtler Super Softs for the background of this piece, and they, the Staedtlers, once blended with alcohol, would not allow more pigment on top. It was basically like I pushed a bunch of wax around and it just sealed it. However, the Caran were able to do so. On top of the Staedtler that was already burnished, I was able to layer more Caran colored pencil. As vibrantly colored as this bird is, I did not sharpen a single pencil. They barely even look used. Now for the cons. There really aren't that many cons for these pencils. Price, I'd say, can be a con, but then you pay for quality, I guess. Light fastness is, of course, something that people do concern themselves with, but for a lot of us, we're not putting our stuff in a museum. The light fastness is based on museum archival environments and not your everyday usage where it's going to be in your bedroom. So if you are using them and you are concerned with light fastness and you're selling them or whatever, I would at least suggest an ultraviolet protective film or glass would be a really good choice, just to ensure they last longer. Again, not really much of a con. They are super soft, so you don't retain a point for very long. So if you're going to be blending with them, not an issue. But if you want or need a sharper point for longer, polychromos are a better choice within this higher range colored pencil. This is not a knock at Caran at all. If you know how to use colored pencils to illustrate and how to blend them, burnish, stack, start with light and move to dark colors, etc., you can achieve some amazing results with Prisma color premieres. Now, I will say Prisma is not nearly as good quality, definitely more wax bloom. The core of the colored pencil itself on Prismas oftentimes can be kind of off-centered, as in like they're not as machine matched to perfection. Now, I will, not that they have to be absolutely perfect, but I'm just saying when you look at something like a Caran compared to a Premiere, you can see where the pencil is slightly off, which can lead to breakage or uneven sharpening and things like that. And that doesn't happen with Caran. They're from what I've seen, they seem to be really premium. Also, they feel a little thicker than a regular colored pencil or the run-of-the-mill colored pencil. They feel thicker to draw with. Like they're not as thin. Here we go. I'm looking at I'm looking at the core of a Prismacolor Premier colorless blender because I like to use these. That's a good option for blending. It's not on the center. I mean, it's very obviously off-centered, closer to one side than the other. It was kind of rushed in that sense. So the quality kind of varies with the Prisma. So basically comparing it to Prisma in terms of price, you are paying for a more premium pencil in terms of how it's manufactured and things. So consistency and quality is much higher with the Caran, but you are paying for that. As an aside, I usually drop at least one pencil when I'm drawing. I mean, it never fails. So yes, I did drop one. Lovely stuff. Here's to hoping the core stayed intact, but I'm not concerned about it. I use what I have. If it broke, it broke. Whatever, I'll make it work. My recommendation is sort of a best of both worlds in a higher end caliber, so to speak, of colored pencil. Use Caran for areas that need lots of blended colors or gradients, and polychromos for areas that need more of a refined touch, such as fur or hair. Now, I cannot speak as to how the oil-based polychromos and wax-based Caran would behave together. That is definitely an experiment for another day. So hey, if you like this, leave me a comment, leave me a like, share it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.